Welcome back to Toledo's most local 9 a.m. show. Good day. 100 years ago, it was the centerpiece of a little area known as Providence, and Isaac Ludwig kept local residents' pantries full of flour for baked goods and so much more. Now you can step back in time to experience the holidays as they did back then. Shannon Hughes is here with more on Holiday at the Mill. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, this is such a little gem in our Metropark system, Providence Metropark, which has the canal boat tour, which takes us to the mill.
It does. So obviously the canal boat is out now. We want to make sure that our staff doesn't freeze out there on the canal. But we're really excited because this Saturday from 10 to 3 we are inviting people into the Isaac Ludwig Mill to celebrate the holidays. And this one's going to be really fun because we are doing a little bit more of those old historic crafts that people come to expect when you visit the mill.
And what would that be? Are we, you know, when I think 100 years ago, maybe there's some string involved, some marbles, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's really fun because there's going to be tin punching, which is if you go and you see old lanterns, those would have been made out of tin, and you could really do very intricate designs in them to kind of get the light to dance through, which is fun. You also have candle dipping, which everybody loves candles, so you get to candle dip. A lot of the decorations would have been done through baking, so we're doing some ornaments, and we're also doing some cookies, so you can decorate the cookies and you can actually cook them. Our staff will be there to help you, but you can cook them in our wood stove, which is how they would have been baking back in the day. And so it is really a very family fun, very family friendly centered event. It is free, no registration required.
Wow, okay, free stuff, things for kids to do ahead of the holiday. And when we talk about the history of this mill, let's talk a little bit more about that.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yes, I think you're the one who knows a little bit about it.
I do. That's where I started my career, was down at the Isaac Ludwig Mill and the Canal Experience, and it really does have 100 years of history. I'm so glad you brought that up. One of the great things about mills in general is that they were a sign that a town was coming through, right? And so if you wanted to have a prosperous town, you had to have a mill. And what's great about the Isaac Ludwig Mill is that it actually is both. So a lot of towns would have had two separate mills. They could have had a grist mill. Grist mill is how you grind the flour and the corn to get your food products. But most would have started off with a sawmill. And what's great about the Isaac Ludwig Mill is because it's 2 stories, you can actually see the sawmill working, and you can see the French burrstones actually grinding the grain that we turn into bread and things like that. So it is a lot of fun to be able to see a still working mill. What's really great about the Isaac Ludwig Mill is it does have 100 years of history, which means it does have lots of owners who came through and added bits and bobs to the mill. The way the mill started was a great folk story. We don't really know the true history of it, but what we do know is a gentleman by the name of Peter Menor actually started the mill. He was gifted the land from the Ottawa tribe who owned the land, and from there he decided to build this mill. But when the canal came through, he had to actually remove his mill, and the story goes that he actually walked all the way down to Cincinnati to actually purchase water rights to the canal system that was coming through, so he would always be able to use the water to actually saw and grind grain. They said he walked. Now we know that would have been over 200 miles, and he was like 80 at the time.
Probably didn't happen that way.
Probably didn't happen, but boy, isn't it a fun story to be able to say. But what was really interesting is he was granted perpetual water rights to the mill, which means that the state had to keep the water flowing constantly no matter what. And so Metroparks really benefits from 100 years of history because that actually still, that agreement is actually still in place. And that's how we've been able to keep the mill, not just Metroparks, but how they were able to keep the mill rolling for so long.
How smart. What a smart
really
business move. Very cool. So how many do you expect? Quite a few families to
We hope
come out?
so, yeah. So the mill is open, like I said, from 10 to 3. The town of Grand Rapids is a really cute town. town, and it abuts Providence Metropark, and they are doing their holiday celebration at the same time too. So we're hoping that people will come in, visit our mill, go across the river, enjoy Grand Rapids, and vice versa. So as many people as want to come, we would love to have.
Yeah, and just to keep that history alive and teach younger generations, this is how it all started, folks.
It is.
This is how we are where we are.
Yeah, and one of the great things that the mill really focuses in on is our STEAM education and our STEM education, right? Because a lot of it is the old system of levers and pulleys, and you're using gravity to be able to pull things through and grind the grain, and you're watching things. And so what's really neat is we do have a lot of the economics and a lot of the science base that you wouldn't normally get to see at other sites. And so it is really cool to have those kind of components already built into not only the history, but the transportation history and all of that. So it is a really great site.
Unique opportunity for families, and especially because kids are going to be out of school, next week, and as we head into late December, keep them learning and keep their brains going. Do people need to register for this ahead of time?
Nope. This is 10 to 3, and this event is free for everybody to come and enjoy. There is no registration required, so just come on when you've got the opportunity, walk through, enjoy at your leisure, take home a fun decoration, maybe make something for mom for Christmas.
Great idea.
And they would love it, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yes. Moms would love that. Shannon, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. When Toledo's most local 9 a.m. show continues, while the Mud Hens opening day is 128 days from now, we're talking baseball this morning. A team that's out of this world, cosmic, you could call it. It's coming to Fifth Third Field next season. What you need to know when Good Day returns.